Good day and welcome to Alena Media TV. We are broadcasting from Toronto, Canada. I am Elsa Abraham. In today's episode, I'm giving you African news. Now let's go for our headlines. In Egypt, Friday protests demand Al-Sisi's departure. Attackers kill at least 15 people in western Ethiopia. And in Libya, Hariga port resumes loading export oil after an 8-month blockade. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll go for our news in details. Thanks so much for sticking with us and welcome back from that short break. Now let's go for our news in details. African anti-regime demonstrations erupt across country in Cairo. Al-Jazeera looks upon call of self-exiled businessman. Egyptians took to the streets across the country after weekly Friday prayers demanding the departure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Several Egyptian social media activists shared footage of demonstrations in Cairo, Al-Jazeera, and Luxor responding to calls by self-exiled Egyptian businessman Mohammed Ali to protest al-Sisi's rule. This was the 6th day of against anti-regime protests amid deteriorating living conditions in Egypt. Mohammed Ali urged the Egyptians on his Facebook page to hold street demonstrations on Friday against al-Sisi regime and to break the fear of barrier in the face of the regime's brutal crackdown of the protest. Egyptian security forces launched random arrest campaigns in the streets, which included searching pedestrian phones for photos of the protest. Al-Sisi came to power in Egypt in July 2013 after he deposed the country's first democratically elected president, Mohamed Morsi. Moving to our next story for today, an oil tanker is expected to load crude at Libya's Masa El Hariga terminal this week, the first since a blockade by Eastern forces in January slashed the OPEC members' oil production to a trickle. The Delta Hellas tanker will enter Libya's Hariga port and load 1 million barrels of oil from the port's storage, the Arabian Gulf Oil Co., which operates the port, said in a statement. Eastern Libyan commander Khalifa Haftar said last week his forces would lift their 8-month blockade of oil exports, which depressed the OPEC members' production down to around 100,000 barrels per day. Trading arm of China's Sinopec, Unipec, which prior to the blockade was one of the main lifters of Mesla and Saril crude grades from the terminal, booked the tanker. Unipec also booked the Malin Shikoku tanker, which, according to Refinitiv Econ shipping data, is expected to arrive at Hariga. This comes as the National Oil Corporation seeks to gradually boost production, with output expected to rise to around 260,000 barrels per day next week. Before the blockade, Libya produced around 1.2 million barrels per day, or more than 1% of global production. The NOC, which said it will also resume at ports and oil fields that are free of military presence, has so far announced oil export resumption from the Hariga, Brega, and the Ziotina terminals. Now moving on to our last story in African news today. Attackers kill at least 15 people in western Ethiopia. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission expresses concern at the surge in attacks against civilians in the region. armed assailants have killed at least 15 people in western Ethiopia, according to the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission. 4 of the victims of Friday's pre-dawn assault in the Metekel area of the Banisha. 4 of the victims of Friday's pre-dawn assault in the Metekel area of the Banishangul Gumuz region were women, the EHRC said in a statement expressing deep concern to a wave of attacks on civilians in the region. At least 2 cases of violence earlier this month in the same region bordering Sudan resulted in the killing of civilians and forced at least 300 people to leave their homes. Civilians are subjected to repeated attacks with utter cruelty in Benishangul Gumuz, said Daniel Bekele, head of the EHRF. Federal and regional authorities should take the necessary steps to uphold the rule of law and hold perpetrators to account, Bekele added. The EHRC did not say who was behind the attacks. He said the Ethiopian National Defense Force carried out a shootout with fighters in the area and was able to restore calm on Friday afternoon. 1 person suffered non-fatal injuries, he added. The attack poses the latest security challenge for the government of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. Abiy, who came to power in 2018, implemented sweeping reforms that won him praise from the international community, but also lifted the veil on long suppressed tensions between the country's many ethnic groups. This is where we end today's episode. Please like, share, comment. Let us know if there's any violence in your community under this post. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button so you will be notified anytime we make a post. You can also log on to our website www.alenamediatv.org so you get all the news updates on African news. My name is Elsa Abraham. Thanks for watching.